Hello, everyone. Welcome to Whack My Comics. I'm here with Emi Lenox, the amazing artist of Plutona, and Cthu-Louise, just teamed up with Jeff Lemire a few times. Is one of my favorite creators of all time. So I'm excited to talk to you and your experience working with him.
Oh, okay. Well, It's really fun to work with him because he's a good friend of mine. So I get to get away with a lot of things, which is great.
Awesome.
You know, like Plutona was co-written by us together.
Yeah.
It was an idea that I had from 2003, and we sat around at a San Diego. What year, I don't remember, because I don't know what time is anymore. But I guess it was like a decade ago. So more. Anyway, I digress. But yeah, he wanted to work together with me because I had met him when I was an intern at Top Shelf, and I suggested about a group of kids finding a dead superhero, and then we sat with coffee and we basically kind of plotted the whole thing in one sitting. Yeah, he's great. He's a great guy.
I love Plutona so much. It's seriously, I bought all the single issues when they came out, and then I loved it so much that I bought the trade paperback, and then I saw that you were selling copies of the hardcover, so I went and grabbed that, of course. And was it on this page? There we go.
Oh yeah.
Thing from you there, and also my co-host Tyler gave me this, the issue 1 signed by Lemire. So I've got a little something signed by us both with Plutona. I absolutely love this series. I feel like it's the easiest series to pitch to someone to read. You know, like if they're looking for a recommendation, it's like there's 5 kids find a dead superhero in the woods, and they're like, ooh.
Right? It's like the best elevator pitch. It's like so short. You only need just the one sentence just to pitch it.
I love the backup issues as well, like that Jeff drew as well. Was that always something that was going to be like in the original?
That was completely his idea on his own, and I don't even think that I knew what that plot was, because he would just send me the scripts of what I needed to draw, and so I didn't get to see that side. That was like his own thing, and so I got to kind of read it and discover it when everybody else did. That was kind of fun for me, because then I got a surprise in the comic I'm working on, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's great. I couldn't imagine the story without it, to be honest. I think it adds a lot, you know, and like learning about Plutona and but that's another question I had. Where did the name Plutona come from?
Well, originally we wanted to call her Plutonia, but as it turns out, there was like a lesser character in the Marvel universe, I think, that was named Plutonia, and we didn't want to get in some legal scuffle with that. So for a while, we brainstormed things and we just took the I out. It's Plutona. That's kind of what happened.
What was your process for drawing Plutona? Did you do it physically, digitally?
What I did is I inked everything traditionally. No, I think for Plutona, I penciled and inked everything traditionally, and then I did the panel borders digitally because I can't draw a straight line with a ruler, even with a ruler. It's straight but crooked. So yeah, all the panels, but mostly it's all traditional.
I really love all the covers as well for Plutona, just like spotlighting each character with each cover. Was that something that you thought of?
Yeah, that was my idea. I just thought it would be fun. I just like how it also makes each character look isolated, right? So it looks kind of sad and lonely on a cover, and I'm like, that's it. That's what like the vibe I wanted. And plus, it's kind of easy to do it over 4 covers. It's nothing complex, but hopefully still beautiful, right?
Dumb pair sweater. Can I have that as a shirt, please? I need that. I need to wear it.
We have some. Image made them for a while, and we don't make it anymore, but I actually have some extras in the basement. Maybe I could send you one.
Oh, really? I would love that. Seriously.
I only have 3 left, so we would just have to cross our fingers that one of them is your size.
Yes, that'd be amazing. I've always wanted that. I've read it so many times. I got the pair from you, the pin, as well, and I got 2. I gave one to a mate, and I've got another one here somewhere.
Yeah, the idea just came from, you know, in Japan, you'd often see shirts with just like a thing and a random word, and I just thought I want to just have a pair. Just dumb pair. None of it makes sense, but I really liked it.
I did too. I think that's one of the things that really drew me to the first issue, like picking it up off the shelf, you know.
Like the shirt?
The shirt, yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Not even joke. I was like, that's cool. I would wear that shirt. Yeah. But
yeah,
I'm
like brainstorming a whole dumb pair like clothing line.
Oh, definitely. I'd buy it all. I'm sure there'd be more out there that would love it. I'm on Jeff Lemire's Substack, and he did a Q&A. And I asked him in the Q&A, because I love Plutona that much, I asked him if there was going to be possibly more Plutona, and he said, he said that it could be a possibility.
We've talked about it off and on, but as so far, I wouldn't say there's any weight to it, you know, to be honest. I know like we both are really happy with the standalone story because we like to leave it open-ended, and I just wanted it to be like a fever dream of a story and then it's over, right?
Yeah.
But when it was, I mean, because for a time it was optioned, although that kind of fell through over the years. But because of that, we were, you know, for it to ever be a TV show, they're going to carry on the story forward more. And so for a while, we talked about continuing it on our own, just so we have our own voice and have it go where we would want to go comics-wise before some TV people just took it off the rails or something, you know?
Yeah, I would have loved to see a TV. I reckon a movie would have been better than a TV show, you know?
Yeah, I think in that industry, they were all wanting to jump on that, like, Stranger Things train.
Yeah.
And what's that one on Amazon with superheroes?
The Boys?
The Boys. I was going to say Brotherhood. Like, I don't remember. The Boys. Yes, I think that was the initial interest in having that be a TV show rather than a movie.
How much back and forth did you have when you were writing, well, like when you were drawing it?
He would send me like the scripts for each issue, and then if I had anything to say about it, we would have like a Skype call, and I would say, but it would always just be things like, you know, like, me, I would never say this or something, and like, take that out, Jeff. And he's like, oh, okay. That's basically it. I think what I love working with him, which makes me feel like working with anyone else would be really hard, is he has so much trust in me and vice versa that we are able to be kind of independent with the creativity, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I trust his choices and he trusts the choices I make with the art. There were some things where like I moved panels I didn't even tell him. It all worked out fine anyway.
You know, he's just signed an exclusive deal with Image. Maybe there could be more from East to come. I'm hoping that there's more from East to come, because I really love when you two work together, like with Cthu-Louise, the one shot that you did together. I got the single issue for that, and it also was collected in this trade if people want to try and find it. And it's also collected in, I think, the first Black Hammer Library edition.
Yeah.
But this was a heap of fun. Tell us about working on Cthu-Louise.
That was really fun. I have never drawn more tentacles in my entire lifetime until that book. So that was an interesting experience. But with Cthu-Louise, that was, you know, I mean, as much as it's a collaboration because I'm an artist and he's the writer, I had no part in the writing on that one. And so the back and forth with that is he gave me the script and I didn't mess with it too much. I did what he told me to do because that was more his vision, right? And I don't want to be horrible.
I'm not going to spoil the ending, but I'm going to ask you, I thought there was going to be more. I'm surprised there hasn't been more.
Of Cthu-Louise.
Cthu-Louise. Yeah.
Above her, of her character.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. My experience with that stuff, I'm just here when Jeff contacts me and he's like, "Oh, hi, you want to do a thing?" I'm like, "Okay." Other than that, like especially with Black Hammer, I don't really know the ins and outs or the plans or anything like that. I wouldn't mind doing more of her. She was really fun to draw.
Yeah, for sure. I'd definitely love to see more of it and read more of it. It's just a fun, like Cthulhu is just like a fun character, you know. And then when we found out he had a daughter, Cthu-Louise, it's like, all right, let's go. What's your favorite Jeff Lemire comic book apart from the ones that you've worked on?
The ones that I worked on. I really liked Essex County, which is one of the really older ones. But I favor slice of life stories personally, you know, which is probably why I like Plutona is what it is and not a superhero story. But yeah, I think he does such a great job of making you feel emotions. And that's what, to me, makes him such a, like one of the best writers, right? Because if you can make someone feel moved or cry or angry or what, that's amazing. And he consistently is able to do that with all of his work. And I don't find that with everybody, you know?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with all of that. I've got a tattoo of a panel from Essex County on my wrist. It's really hard to show on camera.
Yes.
But it's of Lester walking out of the comic book store. It's like the panel ripped straight from the book. But I fully agree. Like everything that I've ever read from it is like it's just been like ultra moving, you know, and like nine times out of 10 has made me cry.
Right. He has he just knows how to tap into humanity and put it on paper, and that's a skill that not everyone has. You've seen people try it, but he's definitely like a master in that sense for that kind of writing.
So what are you working on now? I've seen your EmiTown. I've been wanting to try and find those. I won't have to get them just from your website, I think, because I can't see them in stores in Australia.
Oh yeah, well, EmiTown is out of print now, so it's difficult to find. But if you have one, you should hold on to it because you might never get it. I mean, if we talk off camera later, we can figure something out. I can get something to you with that sweatshirt. But right now, I mean, for the last like 5 years or so, I guess I had like a creator existential crisis, which happens. I've been fortunate where creating comics as a means to fund my life hasn't been completely necessary, so it sort of fell on the wayside for a little bit, but I've been meaning to get back into it. I went on this like tangent of just drawing illustrations and stuff for myself and making prints for my Patreon, but I even have on my phone, on my New Year's resolutions for this year, is to draw comics again and become relevant again in the comics industry. But you having this interview is like, I'm still a little bit relevant. Maybe.
Oh yeah, I tell people about Plutona all the time as well, and people always come back with how much they enjoyed it and stuff like that. So yeah, you're definitely still highly praised in the circles that I run around in, and talk the people that I tell to read it, you know. So I can't wait for your comeback to comics. Like we need it. I'm glad that you took some time though for yourself and drew some things for yourself that you needed to, because we all need that minute for ourselves, you know.
Yeah. I think I got really burnt out, you know, which is like it's hard, you know, like this is like the artist conversation or creator conversation. You know, it's like one person can, you know, like Jeff Lemire is a machine and writes like 20 books at one time. And then for some reason, I'm the person that does one book and I felt like I ran like 12 marathons. So
yeah. No, I'm with you there. I'm with you.
Yeah, like I would rather have a part-time job so I don't take comic jobs I don't want to do. It's like if my heart's not in it, then I get depressed. But it's like I want to do an autobio comic, that same one that I announced 20-something years ago to Daima about my trip to Japan. I still want to do that. And there's another comic that I want to write on my own that's like a fiction story. Hopefully one that will make people cry, because that's where Jeff and I, why we work well together, is we love sad stuff.
Yeah.
Sad stuff and stories about kids.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about those sad stories. I just gravitate towards them all the time as well.
Oh,
and
me too.
Yeah, and I feel like that's something like when I go to create stuff, that's what I always end up creating, is something really sad, and I step back and what's going on here? But I'm glad to know it's just not me though. It's a lot of us that just like to create sad stuff.
Feeling sad can feel good. I mean, when it's obviously not in reaction to something that's happening to you in real life, but like fiction, something that feels bad, I think feels good because it's like a release, right? Like, and it makes you feel alive somehow. Not that being happy doesn't, but being happy is a constant, maybe, hopefully. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it either, but I like sad stuff too. I like crying a lot. I like read books or watch movies. I cry a lot.
Well, I can't wait for you to have something coming out again soon, and for you to make me cry again as well.
I can't wait to make you cry. I hope I do. That's my goal. It's always my goal. With both stories that I want to do in the next couple of years, Lord knows how long it'll take me, both has intention to make people cry.
Is there anything that you wanted to plug?
Well, right now I mostly exist on my Patreon and sometimes on Instagram, which is EmiBot, EMIBOT, if I was a robot, right? And I think it's EmiBot on Patreon. If not, if you Googled my name with my first and last, you'd find it. I've been fortunate enough to have a unique name on the internet.
It is, yeah. I love your name. It's a great name.
Thank you.
Is Emi your like actual name?
Yeah, it's Japanese. My mother got to name me, so my first and middle name's Japanese, which is a fun fact about Plutona. Is Mie is named after my mom. Her name is Mieko. And Mie, and I know a lot of people pronounce it Mai, but that's fine. Yeah. I understand that we didn't put like the little like thingy on the E or whatever. But yeah, so my name is Emi Lenox, and unfortunately for my brother, my dad named him, so he has a boring name. His name's Mike.
Mike.
Mike. But I want to thank you for making me feel special and wanting to talk to me about Plutona and keeping Plutona alive and spreading the word about Plutona, you know, because like TV shows or books come out and they seem old, but they can still be new for people who haven't read it. And it takes people like you to bring it back to the forefront. So thank you very much.
No worries. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk about it. Like this YouTube journey has been great. I've been able to speak to so many creators that have enjoyed their work for years. You know, like this I think was published 2016, 15, somewhere around there. So I've been enjoying that comic for this long, and you know, all this time later to get to talk to you about it's an honor. So I really appreciate it.
Thanks. Thank you so
much. Thank you everyone for watching. Make sure you go follow Emi on all the socials, and check out that Patreon, and also pick up a copy of Plutona and give it a read, because you will not regret it. It's one of the best comics ever.
If you like sad, you'll love it.